In this short video, Greg and I begin by talking about the past successes list, one of the worksheets in the Life Design workbook that you can get for free. Look for the link in the video. And we also talk about the difference between an inner goal and an outer goal.
I was talking to my dad the other day. He said, "There's this interesting guy I just saw on YouTube." He said he was talking about senior citizens and how they have to look at their success list. And I started going on about it. And he doesn't watch much YouTube. But I said, "Well, I think that's my guy Anthony, Dad." He said, "What?" I said, "Yeah." So my dad was watching your video.
Oh, really? Which one?
Yeah. Well, it was the one I think where you were a guest at the Senior Citizen Center. I think Jessica, or well, let's see, I don't know if Jessica was involved, but let me think of the one that was the title of that. But you remember that one?
I don't think I recorded any of those. At least I didn't put them on YouTube. You know which video he was watching? Because I mean, I've mentioned the past successes list a number of times, probably 20
Well,
times.
yeah, that's why I was trying to triangulate that a little bit. Let's see if I ever sent him one. I'll have to see where I did send him a couple of your videos that I liked. That might have been one that I felt was relevant. He said he liked it. He said he got a lot of good things to say. He was thinking about his past successes. So I think that your message is getting out there one way or the other. But I was wondering if it was something his phone was listening to.
I wonder. Well, the past successes list, it's a little bit of a misnomer because I talk about, I call it the past successes list, right? But actually, they're all past. Because everything that occurred before this second is past, right?
Uh-huh.
So you could call it your life successes list if you wanted it to, would be just as appropriate. But
right.
But I think I heard the expression first from Paul Meyer. I remember at least once in the past somebody talking about making a list of past successes. And I remember when I started to do that, I thought to myself, what's the point? What's the point of writing down something that you did 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 30 years ago? And because I didn't see how it could have any relevance to today.
Mm-hmm.
But then, of course, when I realized that, thinking is a connection. And so when you think of a past success, then the energy comes through and you feel successful in your body now. So that was a big breakthrough. But it took me a while to figure that out. Like when I first started using the past successes list, I didn't understand what the relevance of it was. But now I feel like it's the most important thing you can do.
Yeah, I think it's
because obviously identifying times in your life when you felt good, and of course success is just a euphemism for good. Because you can feel good at times when that they weren't necessarily a success in a sense being the result of your systematic actions, because sometimes you can, something can happen to you that's by a fluke, and yet that can still be a success, But I think, the way I think about it probably is that the success is a result of your actions, or at least an effect of your actions. It's a byproduct of your actions. So you're involved in it. I mean, if you won $10 in the scratch and win, I'm not sure I would call that a success, though that's a positive thing too. So to me, a past success is basically anything that feels good, but specifically something that you have had a hand in, that you've created it somehow. and this is a key point too, is that the success can be external or internal. So, for example, an external success, buying a new car, that would be a success, right?
Right.
You set a goal to get a new car, you look around, you find a dealer, and you find the car you want, and then you arrange to buy it, and you buy it, and now you have the car. So that's a success. That's an outer success, a physical success. But an inner success could be something like overcoming a fear. Like, for example, I tend to be fairly introverted and kind of shy. It depends on the situation I'm in. But like lots of times, I might have had an opportunity to attend a party or something, and perhaps I didn't go because I just felt sort of introverted,
Right.
Well, then the next time that would happen, if I overcame that hesitancy and I went to the party, then I would call that a success. But that's an inner success because I overcame an inner obstacle, i.e., fear, hesitation, shyness, something like that. So there's inner successes and there's outer successes. And of course, my thinking these days is that it's the inner successes that are perhaps the most important ones. And this is one of the key ideas in this life track idea, right? That if you know you're on the right track, you might not necessarily see any concrete results. But if you're sure that you're doing the right thing, for example, if you know that a large part of your business is to make phone calls to prospects, and you overcome the hesitancy to make those phone calls, and you call a certain number of calls a day that you decide you want to make, then those are inner successes. Because the tendency might be to take a coffee break or go for a walk or to quit early if you don't feel like it. When I was selling insurance, I spent more time sitting in a coffee shop than I spent sitting with a prospect.
Yeah.
And that's fairly typical, but nevertheless, that was my experience in the beginning, was you just don't feel like facing rejection or something.
Right.
So you find a reason to put it off. In other words, you succumb to the fear, I suppose, for want of a better word.
And you can find a link to join this online community at mindtimeandpower.com, where you can also get a copy of the book upon which this entire Q&A series is based, either the ebook, the audiobook, or the paperback. You can get a free copy if you pay the shipping at www.mindtimeandpower.com.